Good morning.
Hey, yo, what the?
10KTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of 10K TV, the Wild Wednesday edition presented by 10,000 Takes. My name is Bossman. I am joined remotely by Veach, who has a beautiful Kaprizov. Is that a signed jersey in your background? I don't think I even asked you that last time.
It is signed. I had to double check, but yeah,
Yeah, and
both of them are.
Yeah,
to
the
be
whole
fair.
the whole jersey too.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that. Love that.
Sick. Go Dogs.
Two legends
Go
of the
Dogs.
game. Before we begin, folks, I got to tell you about Captain's Patch. This beer of ours right here. It is a beer brewed by Elm Creek Brewing, and it is available for purchase at the Grand Casino Arena
Get that there.
in sections 105, 115, C13. We appreciate everyone who's been drinking it at games. I saw people hammering it during the World Juniors. I was hammering it during the World Juniors because our fucking team was awful. We'll get into that later. But make sure to get it at Grand Casino Arena, sections 105, 115, C13. All right, let's start off with Wild Wednesday. It is a hockey show, so we're going to start by talking about ice. No, I'm kidding. I'm talking about ice as in frozen water. I don't know what you guys were thinking about.
Veach did not enjoy that joke.
Brother,
I did.
I feel like John Coffey, as a Minnesotan, I feel like John Coffey, and I'm tired, boss. I'm dog tired. I just want to be normal. Just get me out of the news. I just want to exist.
We need to be in the news. We need to be in the news because we're winning a Stanley Cup, which I was
Yeah.
listening to a podcast that Craig Leopold was on, which is a really good interview where he's like, you could just hear how bad he wants it. I mean, he wants it probably worse than we want it. He might even want it worse than the players want it. I guess, specifically as a business owner, you're trying to get a return on your investment, and he probably just hasn't yet because of first round exits. But let's start off the show here with a prominent segment, Stick Taps Take a Lap. Stick Taps, this is someone or something you want to give some kudos to. We'll start with you, Veach. What do you got for Stick Taps this week?
Oh, Stick Tap Sarge, you're going to have to tell me if I've done this one already or not. I feel like I've just been on a kick lately and my mind is gone. But Dirty Soda, I am 100% back
No.
on the train. Okay.
What's dirty soda?
Dirty Soda is just, pop for, the Minnesotans or the rest of the Midwesterners in the chat or in the video feed here. Mixed with usually some sort of a cream and then sometimes a citrus as well. So very commonly you'll see like Dr. Pepper is the main ingredient for all of these because it's the best pop out there. And now
Wild
recently,
take right there.
no, it's not a hot take. It is verifiable fact. I think they've actually done weird science stuff on it. I'll have to send you some links. Anyway,
He'll send you back some links.
Yeah.
I will. I'll send you some links. But over the holidays, I got into mixing Dr. Pepper and eggnog for a little bit of a twist on it. And I hate to say it, eggnog is on sale right now. So I jumped back into it and I've got a lot of eggnog to drink through. So
So
I'm
question. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I cannot help myself. So isn't it like chunky in the Dr.
Nope.
Pepper?
nope, not at all. I will say if you left it there and didn't drink it fast, like relatively quickly, it might have a dubious look to it. But that's probably why everybody puts it in the styrofoam cups, so you don't have to look at it when you're drinking it.
You and
'Cause
Lil
it
Wayne,
is not
dude.
the most appealing looking.
What
But
kind of alcohol do you put in it?
Yeah, seriously.
you can throw some peppermint schnapps in
I
there.
feel
and make it a
like,
little bit holiday. Yeah.
I feel like you're explaining in The Wolf of Wall Street when Jordan Belfort's explaining NA beer to Donnie, and he's like, "Wait, so you drink like 40 of them, you get fucked up?" Like that's where my brain's going. Is like, how do I get drunk off of it? But this is something you're just making for fun.
This is just calories, and there's a lot of calories in it. I'll tell you that right now. So, diet was supposed to start in the new year. We postponed it. Diet starts when eggnog is no longer on sale.
Dude, I feel you, Veach. I was supposed to quit Zins, and I am not.
He's decided to double up.
No, I did double up.
You're trying to go through them faster so that you can start diet faster. That's what you're doing.
ridiculous. Also, when I thought you said dirty soda, I was thinking like you were doing the old bit, the fountain bit, where you just hit them all and get them all
No,
mixed
not
in there.
swamp water. That's swamp water.
Oh,
Different.
okay.
Different.
Yikes. Sarge, do you have any?
Yes, absolutely. I got a stick
Okay.
tap. My stick tap goes to Proctor High School for taking down Veach's hometown team, Hermantown, 4-3 last night. Shout out to my buddy Cam, avid listener, follower of 10K. He shot me a message last night on Instagram and sent, hey, Proctor beat Hermantown 4-3. I'm like, no fucking way. It was all over TikTok. Veach, I need to hear your thoughts, man. Are you devastated? That's ridiculous. That can't happen.
Here's my thoughts. Proctor, I don't know if you saw the scoreboard or not. Hermantown like doubled up the shots. So
I did.
They had a goalie standing on their head. This is a school that produced AJ Railts, who is narrowly did not make the World Junior team, is a top prospect coming into college hockey next year. I think he's up in Penticton playing for the V's right now. I could be wrong. Him and Carter Casey, who's out of Grand Rapids, he's in Medicine Hat right now. Those are the two best goalie prospects from the U.S. that I'm aware of. Granted, I only really pay attention to those coming out of Minnesota, but that coaching tree is the same one that produced whatever goalie was in net this time. And so what I do have to say about that is I did a little Googling myself. Unless Google is wrong, which nobody can believe anything on the internet.
AI has never been
right.
wrong.
This is the first time Proctor has beaten Hermantown since January 5th of the 1900s, 1999. So
It's a big
been
deal.
over a quarter decade so that they got one. So, congratulations, props to them. They got one. They won by one. We'll start the tally over now.
You got to start they got to start 1 day since losing to Proctor.
Yeah.
So the count just resets to.
It's going to take them a while to erase the number of days it's been.
Yeah. That's
Boss
great.
man, what about you? What's your stick tap?
Well, I was going to say really quick, it's getting me excited. I mean, the state tournament, I don't want to say it's right around the corner because it's not, but if the season starts in November, it's already crazy how fast time flies. Like we're already in mid-January, you're already you're starting to see which teams are good, which teams are real, which ones suck. But yeah, I'll get into my stick taps here. I got to give some big stick taps to the G-Spot, Grand Casino Arena. According to Pete Blackburn, who does quite an extensive amount of content reporting for the NHL, we have the best popcorn in the entire league.
Hell yeah.
Did you guys see that? Which,
As something that's served at every NHL arena, because you can't say that about everything, that's huge.
Big time. I guess I've been always so focused on drinking like 6 of these at Wild games that I've
Correct.
never really gotten popcorn. But
Sure.
I mean, that's awesome. We're the Wayne Gretzky of popcorn. You know what? Raise the banner. We can raise it
I need
right
somebody
next.
to make a graphic. Grand Casino Arena, Wayne Gretzky of popcorn.
Here's the banners now in Grand Casino Arena. You have the number 1, which I think is hideous. Right next to that, you have Mikko Koivu. You have both the Frosts, Walter Cups, and then I say we hang one for the best popcorn because that fucking rocks.
It means just as much as that number 1 for the fans, so might as well.
Actually, I think that delivers more value. Than
I
the
also
banner.
agree, boss man.
I think if anything, you're just gonna sell more popcorn and make more revenue. The number 1 just takes up oxygen. So I don't want to.
I've always hated that.
I wonder if they import their popcorn from Candyland, that's always been my favorite place to get popcorn. Candyland, that old store that's been around since the 1800s.
Is that the big yellow one that's world's largest or
Yeah, I don't
United
know where
States
you're
largest candy store?
Where's Candyland? I thought you were talking about the board game.
Or I honestly, it could. I might be fucking up the name to be honest, but it's like a super old school candy store in St. Paul, and there's a couple.
Oh, you know what? On Wabasha, I drove by that the other day.
Yeah, dude. They
This
have
is
the best popcorn.
normally I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about, but I actually drove by this exact place, and I'm like, that place looks like it's been there since the Civil War.
Yeah, dude, and they got like super like gourmet chocolates that you can only have like 2 of them, but they're so good, but they're so rich. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they don't really have like my type of candy, which is sour candy, but
Yeah.
because you guys are psychos.
I love
No, sour candy and fruit candy is infinitely superior to chocolate candy.
Oh.
Chocolate candy is horrendous.
Absolutely,
I
agree.
won't say horrendous. That's a bad take. I take that back. I want to retract that statement. But it is inferior to sour candies and whatnot. Here's my evidence on that. Chocolate has been around for hundreds of years. Like the dolts and idiots back in the 1600s or prior, even I don't know when it came around, were able to make chocolate. We didn't have the technology to make superior candies until the turn of the century. The Industrial Revolution didn't even have it. So,
Well, dude, when they
I'm
invented
in on sour candy.
chocolate, that was the last time Proctor beat Hermantown. So it's been it's been
A buddy of mine
callback.
did send me a gif of the steam engine, and I was like, oh, when Proctor beat them, and I was like, oh, funny enough, they took this video the last time Proctor beat them.
Yeah, this train actually was taking the kids from Hermantown to Proctor for the game.
Yeah.
The steam engine. I also have a backup stick tap. I have Matt Khalil for he's suing his ex-wife for publicly disclosing that he has a humongous penis. And so not only does everyone know he has a huge crank now, and
Allegedly,
and anyone can go on the internet and say that, but he had an attractive woman say it, which makes it even better. But now he's suing her, so there's a potential profit out of having too big of a penis that's now public, allegedly. So, Matt Khalil just getting it done on the field, back in his heydays with the Vikings and I believe the Chargers, he played for them for a little bit. And now now off the field, he's making money and it's good news. It's, they say no news is bad news or whatever. I mean, it's about as good as it gets, so
this should be one of those court cases that needs to be nationally televised, because I want to know what evidence you're going to have to, like, is it a defamation lawsuit? And if it's a defamation lawsuit, like, how do you produce evidence? Or I'm not going to get into what evidence could be.
Yeah, you just got to put dick pictures in for the jury. Is Judge Judy still a thing? Like, I saw she was at
No, she has to have retired by now.
Was she at like a Raiders game I saw, or she was at a game, and because she's like a big football fan apparently.
Sure.
She's got to be on this case, because she would just be like, this is the most fucking stupid thing I've ever heard in my life.
Low-key crazy rich person, because I think she owned a lot of the rights to that television program when it was on. Like, a lot of people underestimate the amount of wealth that she accumulated from absolutely trash TV.
Yeah, I don't know if obviously it's still the case, but she was like the richest person in TV history at one point, just in terms of on-air talent.
Crazy.
That's got to be Oprah now, or I don't know, all those women from The View that just bark at each other. I don't know.
I promise it's not the women from The View. It might still be Oprah.
Yeah, probably is Oprah. Let's do take a lap. So this is the flip side of the equation here. Someone who or something that needs to take a lap and take a 10. Take something. Veach, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna call out a group of people and one in particular. Haters that are ridiculing or were ridiculing the crowd sizes at Grand Casino Arena, specifically World Hockey Report, and just the incessant fucking tweeting every single game. And most of the pictures are taken like during warm-ups or like prior to puck drop. And I'm just like, yes, I get it. They're about to drop the puck. But if you take this picture 10 minutes later in the middle of the first period, after everybody's done getting their beers and come down, like, it's not the most impressive crowd, but it is certainly like 3 or 4 times what this photo is showing. And there's something to be said about the crowd size in general. And I get that. What I will say is, yes, Canada fills out their arenas more. There's a hell of a lot less to do in Canada. They invented the sport. Yes, they should like it more. We have so many more youth arenas and everything around here that can hold people and have games at the same exact time that World Juniors is going on, that we just have to go to that. We're obligated to go to our, Bloods games instead of these foreign kids. Like, we would love to go do it. And then another one that there's some discussion to be had about this as well. The ticket prices, especially when it was first announced, were ridiculous. I think the ticket package per game was in like the $300 or $400 per session, and I don't know how much it came down from there. And that's absolutely wild to me that you would go pay that for an amateur hockey tournament when that's more than the prices are for a professional hocky game.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
People were saying too, this made a lot of sense. They're like, why don't people in Minnesota show up for the World Juniors? And comparing it to the state high school hockey tournament, I think, is a little ridiculous, because those are all of our kids. That's our community.
Correct. Yeah.
This is just not random kids. I don't mean it in that sense, but these kids are from all over the world. Like, there were like 9 kids from Minnesota total playing in the tournament. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Half of them don't even play for Minnesota universities, or, they play in the WHL or CHL, whatever. So, like, outside of the USA team, which we'll get to, was a horrible fucking team this year.
Yeah. I wouldn't say horrible.
I wouldn't say horrible either. Actually, that was probably too far. I would say I think there just wasn't enough skin in the game. Like there wasn't. People didn't have enough of a reason, and I'm a fan of hockey in general, so I had fun at the games. But if you're paying for it, it's not.
When you win back to back, it's the same thing in professional football or really any sport. When you're back to back champions, it's really, really hard to go for that third one and win a third one.
But the fact that we didn't even get to the semifinals, we were a horrible team. I'm back on it. We were horrible.
No, I'm telling you right now, and I was going to bring it up during
coached.
our World Junior stuff. The Finland team that was there, not only did the goalie have the best pad set up in
by
maybe
far
World Junior history,
yes,
and one of the top pad setups in a very long time of any sport. They were a very well put together team as well. So losing to them like in overtime, I'm not that mad at it.
Wild prospect too. What was that kid's name? It's a car crash coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say good luck pronouncing it.
Aaron.
Number 33.
Iavara, who? Yeah, I was the same kid. Remember in the 2024 draft, he just walked up to Billy and he's like, "You made the biggest steal of the draft." The balls on that guy.
Yeah.
No, that pad setup was great, and what I liked about that goal even more was after, being flawless in the third period, overtime, and most of the shootout. After he loses the shootout by one goal, he just decides to tomahawk hit his stick over the net until it shatters.
It's a guy that cares.
Yeah, that's passion. Yeah. All right, Sarge, what do you got? Take a lap.
Yeah, my take a lap. We're going to stay in the World Juniors world, even though Veach did steal my take a lap because it's bullshit. Also, people work. I don't know if anyone thought about that either, but I digress.
Yeah.
My take a lap is Bob Motzko. So not only did he not get it done in the World Juniors, his Gopher team stinks. And I was overhearing in the USA Lounge, which was sick. We got to some of the guys from 10K. We got to go have a really cool experience down below the
Custom One Lounge.
Yeah, the Custom One Lounge. It was awesome. But I overheard these old guys talk about how Bob Motzko needs to go, and I couldn't agree more. So my prediction is that he's going to be fired next year.
Well, he decided to bury Will Zellers on the fourth line in the quarterfinals game, which is crazy. He's one of your top scorers on the team. May or may not be a North Dakota guy. That's why I'm sticking up for him. But did they even practice 3-on-3? Did they?
Who practices 3-on-3?
You should. There's a possibility it'll happen in the tournament. It happened to us in the tournament. It happened to Sweden and Finland in the tournament. Like, why would you not practice that? I don't know who the defenseman was, but he was just skating in the middle. Like, he was just hovering in the neutral zone because he didn't even know where to be on the rush.
So that's something that I've got a little bit of beef with, is putting all of that on Bob. And if it was a Gophers player, then yeah, I guess you have to put it on Bob. But if it was somebody that's, been coached by an entirely different system and they're just trying to figure out who the hell they're even on the ice with, let alone who they're supposed to be getting from the other team, it's a little bit different because so many people approach 3-on-3 so differently, where it's like safety, tactile, and wait until we get the puck and then attack, or be aggressive, make them cough the puck up and get a fast break. So if they're in a completely different system and they're, not used to it, I have a hard time putting all of that on Bob's hands, specifically that scenario.
You got to get it done in your backyard.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point.
No excuses.
Yes.
No excuses.
Yeah, none.
And why was Will Zellers on the fourth line? That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
But he kept producing there. So it's like, do I take the guy off when that is where he's absolutely producing? Like, if he didn't play the fourth line at all, that's one thing. But like, Zellers was still out there a decent amount. It's not like Bob was holding back.
Yeah.
Ice time.
What do you think about him switching all three goalies? What do you think about that, Veach?
That's another thing that if you had, somebody coming in that is like just under that window and has been, a star performer over and over and over again, you have to play that guy. But when you've got three relatively unknown guys and it was a toss-up whether or not all of them were going to make the World Junior team to begin with, it's like, you kind of want to see every one of them go out there, don't you? Like, I don't know, man. I struggle to fault him because let's just say I will say he left some of them in there too long, given the production that they had in period one. Like when you knew in that Finland game specifically, it was like, all right, this guy might not have it.
Yes.
You got to take him out. That's the one thing I'll give you there. But like, you kind of got to try, especially if you don't know the goalies.
Well, for memes alone, starting Heil against the Germans was just perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. All right, what about you, boss man?
Okay, take a lap. I got the Winter Classic presented by Discover.
Yeah.
I
God,
agree.
why?
Whatever
why,
you're about to say, I agree.
Why did we have it in Florida? Why did that? I'm surprised they were even able to get ice. Well, it's probably because it was in an enclosed stadium, which defeats the entire point of the Winter Classic.
Correct.
Actually, no, they had a crack in the roof open, so you know what? I guess it counts as the Winter Classic. Not only was it absurd to put the Winter Classic basically on a beach, but the fact that they put sand on one half and like snow on the other half, and then they had borderline furries dressed up in costumes like dancing around near the stage. Like what a weird event, dude. I just like at first I was like, okay, I get they're trying to branch out, but then people started sharing photos of like all of the most iconic Winter Classics. Obviously, the one that was here was awesome, despite the fact that we played like an AHL team.
Well, and the fact that it was like negative 20.
Yeah, but I would rather have it be unbearably cold like that than playing it where kids go to spring break to get wasted. And, you know, like it's Florida. Why would you have it in Florida? The videos from like when it was, who was it? Was it Toronto and Montreal? Was that
Well, you
like
could pick any one of the ones.
I
where
guess
it's
any of them.
Pittsburgh out there, or
Dallas,
in
where
Chicago.
Dallas, where Corey Perry gets kicked out of the game like 10 seconds in and has to walk.
Has to do the long walk.
all the way
Dude,
back.
that walk was epic.
Yeah, I didn't even watch. Did you guys watch the game? I didn't even watch
I
it.
tuned in for 45 seconds. And,
I'm kind of there as well.
and then also, I don't know if you guys like maybe it's just I'm not remembering correctly, but I don't remember the cameras being that far away from the game. Like, did you guys notice that at all?
and
Or am I
it's-
making shit
It's,
up?
it seems like it's kind of always like that, just because the seats are far away, so
Okay,
it's more
that-
of a.
I was thinking it might be.
But
me,
with that, like, you're playing it in what was that? A baseball stadium? Was that? I don't even know where it was. Was it Hard Rock? Football? Doesn't matter. It was Florida.
I'd have to look and see which stadium it was. I thought it was the Marlins, but I could be completely mistaken there.
They had like dudes dressed up as dolphins dancing around the ice.
When you say Dolphins, oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Katy Perry Left Shark. Never mind. Keep going.
Yeah, dude, it was just, it's just absurd. And I get people are like, oh, well, there's too many outdoor games, stadium series, all that other stuff.
That's what I was gonna have my retort be. Is Winter Classic should be only teams where it snows, and you can have stadium series in all of those.
Yeah,
southern ones.
there you
I think
go.
you should separate it. I really do.
Yeah, have the stadium series in Florida, because Florida, you hear the word winter, and that's like, hell yeah, man. It's not going to rain today. It's going to be a bearable temperature outside. They love winter.
Yeah. I will say it did kind of piss me off too, pandering to the crowd and whatnot, like dropping the snowflake confetti. I was like, just
Yeah.
you're putting salt in the wound here. Like, this is just making me think of how much better it would be if it was actually snowing and the players.
Well,
Heard that.
Yeah.
and this is kind of ironic for us Vikings fans when they do the winter whiteout game indoors in a temperature controlled stadium. But
Yeah.
that's a whole separate thing. I also have another take a lap is Matt Frolic, I think his name is, who decided to write this tune, which I'll play in the speakers here once this tweet loads. Yeah, here we go. Oh.
Green and yellow, baby, never seen you looking better. I just need a Super Bowl, baby. Bowl has never been enough. I need something to hold, baby. I can be a Jordan Love.
Yeah, that's enough.
I can be your Jordan Love. Did you guys see this? Brucey put it in our Discord today.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I did see it.
Is this guy worse than the guy who did the rap outside of US Bank? last
I
year?
just
They're
before
not
you
the
say
same
anything,
guy.
before you say anything, I just want to make sure that you are aware you did put out a a song as well.
Yes, we did as well, but ours was Christmas themed. It wasn't some attempt to come up with some original banger. And we also won games after we came out with a song.
That's a fact.
The other guy, we didn't win a single game after he dropped that quote unquote banger. Was what he called it.
All right, so
Monstrosity.
TBD whether it's awesome or not if Green Bay wins games or not, right?
Well, I think they're done already. This guy is this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I would think unless the Bears are actually pathetic enough, they could outdo this somehow with maybe like a double doink or, who knows what. But this is tough. This guy's got to take a lap. And if he's an actual Packers fan, he could just be a Bears fan, which is actually a really good idea to be
Trying
a
to
Bears.
reverse curse?
Yeah, and just make the Packers look pathetic. I actually kind of don't hate that.
I do like that conspiracy theory.
We should dress up Jake as start doing like a Jordan. Well, you can't do a Jordan Love impersonation. Closer to blackface.
You get age to do it,
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, and he's already done the Jamal McDonald's bit.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out age.
Yeah. So if we ever need to reverse jinx the Nuggets, we'll just do that. All right, let's keep going here. Previous games. So now we'll finally get into the wild talk. By the way, before we start that, these 97 hats and these Quinnesota hoodies, baby.
Look how clean those are.
They look nice.
I think I was the only person I knew who bought the wheat color one. I went out
That's crazy.
I went on a gamble doing it, and I think it's the best color of all of them.
It looks
I
crisp.
agree.
Even better, the scarlet red one was tempting. White was an option. Black is, you can never go wrong with, but this is like the first wheat colored hoodie I have, and it rocks. So 10K takes mn.com, by the way, and I think we only have like 20 of these hats left. So you got to get these hats before they're gone forever. All right, previous games, they shut out the Ducks. That was awesome. They lost to the Kings in a shootout. They lost to the Sharks in a shootout, and then they lost to the Kings in reg. I think I flip-flopped 2 of those, but that's what's happened in the last week.
L's.
Yeah.
A lot of losses, yeah.
So since the last recording or episode of this, they're 4-3-3, 4-6 if you don't want to count overtime and shootout losses. 4 of those games went into overtime. 2 of those went into a shootout. And the Wild were 1-3 in those 4. So they've lost their spark in terms of winning in overtime. And if we're being honest, it feels like we're at a turning point in the season because it's like the excitement of Quinn Hughes has kind of worn off. Not the fact that people don't like him anymore or anything. It's just the shiny new toy is like, in the rotation of something that's normalized now. And they've got to kind of figure it out. They need to go on. They don't need to go on like a good solid run and like win 4 games in a row or anything, but they need to keep up pace with the teams that they're chasing and make it a good race. Maybe put some pressure on Dallas and just continue to be a threat to get one of those top 2 seeds.
Well, yeah, now Marcus Foligno is scoring all the goals. Like, he's
what's that
backwards
about?
and carrying the team. It was good to see him finally get one, to be honest.
I agree.
The Quinn Hughes thing is funny. It's just the more and more I see him, the more dead inside he looks. Like,
he's always been that way, though.
Right.
I feel like it's just a Hughes trait to some extent. I don't know that they're always going to
unless
be like
you're
that.
Jack and you're talking to Bill Guerin, your future general manager.
Yeah, he was very excited about that phone call, and they seemed very buddy-buddy.
Apparently, dude, there were reports that when Hughes hurt his hand, however he did it, Billy was the first one to call and check in on him and make sure he was doing all right and kind of talked him off a ledge. Now, the funny thing is being the general manager at Team USA and having to essentially split your time between your current team and a Team USA team.
I think you could get around a lot of those accusations or, potential cases with just hey, as general manager of Team USA, just checking in to see how you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, unless
when you come to Minnesota to visit your brother.
Obviously, he can't do that after the Olympics. Then it's kind of exposed. But for now, I mean, you could just talk to all the American stars and just quote unquote check in and make sure they're quote unquote doing all right, and just start establishing. He's got those guys' numbers in his phone now. So, shoot him a text, see if he wants to come over at the deadline.
I have always kind of wondered how that works is if you're looking to contact a player, whether through the proper channels or not, like, is there just an NHL phone book? Like, is there a website that each of the GMs have access to, or do they have to then call,
Yeah, I don't know.
the separate organization that then patches you through. It's always weird to me how they get those numbers so quickly. And maybe it's just, video magic where they kind of just erase all of the boring parts. But
Yeah, if there is, 10K would like access to that.
I would like access to that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you could airdrop it to us. That'd be cool. Maybe try to do it to someone else and then accidentally airdrop us. Really quick though, so just some other takes on how they've been playing. Gus has never lost to Anaheim in Anaheim. Do you know that? He's 5-0 in that building and has an average of a 1 GAA there.
Is that right?
That's right. I
Wow.
read it from Michael Russo. So it
Credible
has to be right.
source.
Very credible source.
So we need to look to get Anaheim into the playoffs and find our way into a series with them.
Yep, which means
Got
we're
it.
going to have to climb the leaderboard pretty heavily here.
Yeah.
Against the 3 regulation loss Avs, which now they have 3. The gap is closing. Just kidding, we're losing 2. But, yeah, that's another one. My buddy Matt Kierstead, who I used to work with at the Grand Forks Country Club back in the day, he was a lifeguard there, and me and my friends would crush beers in the pool and probably start saying some heinous shit that we're not supposed to say around kids, and he would just sit there in the lifeguard chair and just laugh his ass off at some of the absurd shit we'd say. And now he's getting praised by Coach.
Which coach?
Hines.
No.
Yes.
Elaborate. I missed this.
I'm gonna play the video for you. Matt Kierstead from Coach Hines himself. By the way, too, there's a rapper who's doing a free concert outside of the Quality Leering Center, and I'm all over that. That's a different discussion. All right, hey, here you go.
He's gotten in there a few times, I guess.
He's a really smart player. I think even in training, I thought he had a really good training camp for us. Good skater, very smart. I think he can move the puck. I think he's a guy that he's played NHL games. I think he's comfortable in these environments, and as I said, I think he moves the puck well, plays with good structure, good skater.
Why do you have a look on your face like you don't
So,
believe that this is Hines?
Whose life in the small center?
I don't necessarily not believe it. I'm trying to decipher what he's actually saying in there. Like, we have to play this guy because we're just limited on healthy people, or
Well, you either play him or David Jiricek, who you gave up 4 draft picks for. So clearly he's pretty good.
honestly, the less David Jiricek is out on the ice, the more valuable he is for future trades.
Did we screw up that trade and accidentally get the wrong Jiricek, by the way?
Maybe.
I kind of want
honestly.
I kind of want Adam instead. Right
Yeah.
now. Especially
Just go
after
1 for 1 right now.
that goal in the World Juniors was that in overtime where he went between the legs.
Yes, sir.
He scores that to win the game, and then he goes, "Yeah, I've never actually tried that in a game before." He just tries it on like one of the biggest stages.
That's so ballsy.
Yeah. But yeah, Kierstead got his flowers. We're also horrible in shootouts. Is that something you want to talk about right now? You want to break?
Yeah,
down
I
the
do want to
shootouts?
talk about that. It pisses me off. Shootouts in general at the NHL level are boring to watch now. Everybody has the same, analytics and videos and whatever. And Suki is the biggest offender,
Yeah.
in terms of this. Like, he does the dead controller, comes in, he waits for the goalie to make his move, and he tries to put it between the paddle of the blade of the stick and the push-off skate, whether they're a lefty or righty goalie. And it only works on his left side, so it would have to be a normal goalie. So it's like, that's boring. If he does that every time, it's just like, oh, well, hopefully the goalie doesn't catch us with the corner of his blade. And, against the Kings, he did. So it's like, all right, well, I know what's going to be coming here. And every guy is allowed to have their signature shootout move, but his is boring, and it is what it is. If it continues to be successful for him, I'm going to have, I will be on the island to myself saying, I'd rather have you, be worse at a shootout and make it exciting. I'm okay being on that island. And I know that's going to be a bad take if that's the case, but so many other guys kind of do the same thing. And I'm just like, I want the 1990s Russian shootouts where you've got guys doing 4 dekes and trying to flip it over the goalie and doing spin moves out there. Like, who gives a crap? Your team's already got a point. At this point, just try and make some fun with it. The team, if you score, is going to be so jacked up. It's a win. So bring back cool shootout moves.
Was it Vanek who would skate as fast as he could at the goalie and just rip a
That
clap
sounds
bomb?
right. Yeah.
Clap bomb?
Yeah.
Someone needs to bring that back, dude. But yeah, here's kind of how most shootouts go for the Wild. So Zuki probably doesn't score. Boldy sometimes scores. Kirill most likely doesn't score. And then
Kirill is low key, it goes under the radar how bad he has been at shootouts over the
Yeah.
last year. I think he's got 1 goal in all of the attempts, and I could be wrong on that, but all the ones that I've seen have been awful, and it's a very much a Russian style of. And Tarasenko does the same thing.
I was just
You
about to
shoot
say,
it.
so what happens next is if our goalie is somehow able to stop as many pucks as shots I just read that we usually miss, then we throw Tarasenko out there, and he normally doesn't even hit the net.
Yeah,
Like he doesn't even hit. He just shoots it in outer space, and then the game is over. That's how
Yeah.
3 games that I can think of already, including the game against the Kings, ends.
Yeah.
And it's kind of infuriating. I don't know
Yeah,
what else to do. I mean, maybe you bring Freddie Gaudreau back on a
No,
on a
come
two-way
on.
deal because he was just a shootout merchant.
If hockey were like baseball, where you had a designated hitter in baseball, designated shootout merchant. Like,
Yes.
he doesn't have to play and he doesn't get paid unless you need him to come in for a shootout, and that's his only thing.
I feel like-
then I would be okay with that.
What if we just threw Trennan at him? Like no chance they have any film on Jakob.
I was gonna say
Trenin.
there's no tape.
There's no tape. Trennan, maybe throw JoJo out there. I feel like JoJo is probably our number 5 guy. We just never
Yeah,
get
he's
that
out there
far
decent
because
amount.
we've usually lost by that point.
Yeah.
Or won, I guess, against the Avs. But yeah, dude, I'm over shootouts, if I'm being honest. Nothing to do with my bias against us being bad at them at all, but it's a dumb skills competition. We should just keep doing 3-on-3.
Yes.
Not biased at all because we've lost 3 of the last 4 shootouts. But
Well, and here's my thing with that. Everybody's like, eliminate the shootouts entirely and go just to 3-on-3 and make it 10 minutes or however long they want to make a full another period. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I do like that more. However, 3-on-3 is almost boring now as well.
yeah, because
everybody
of
just
the
holds
possession
puck.
bullshit.
Exactly.
You
and they're
shouldn't
just
be
like,
allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to take it out of the zone once you're in it.
Yeah, make it like traveling in the NBA where it has to
Yes.
be pushed out or something.
Yeah, because think about how that would force teams to actually try to generate offense and take risks that could result in the breakaway for sure for
Yeah.
the other team. But that's what makes it fun. That
I'm okay with over and backs, and even if they want to push it to the red line as the starting point, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I get that neutral zone still allows them to come out or whatever, but if they're only allowed in the neutral zone, it doesn't really benefit you to come out because then you're trapped between the neutral zone and going off sides, or the red line and going over and back or whatever they want to call it. So yeah, if they want to make that rule, I am 100% on board with that.
like, do you guys remember how fun 3-on-3 used to be?
Yes.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
fucking chaos.
Non-stop action.
It
yeah.
was chaos.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. When it first started and it wasn't a huge possession game, it was electric.
Yeah.
I mean, all that tape on how to do 3-on-3, and Team USA still doesn't even know how to execute it. U20 team.
Yeah, I was gonna say those kids have never practiced it, but if they're in college, they've practiced it because that's how they operate in the overtime as well. So
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to upcoming games. We are heading to the Crack House on Wednesday or Thursday tomorrow
Thursday, yeah.
to play the Kraken. Finally, this godforsaken West Coast swing is coming to an end.
Yeah.
The 9:30 puck drop on Monday night was tough to stay up for.
It's always so brutal.
And it was Monday night's game was one of those games where I knew at a certain point there was no chance we were going to win. Like, we come within
Yeah.
one goal, immediately give up another. That's usually the time where you should just turn it off and cut your losses, but I decided to stay up for the whole thing. So, yes, hopefully we get a win against the Kraken. Are they already selling their team? Like, they're already kind of starting to slowly trade pieces away. They got rid of Mason Marchment already.
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of given up. And when you're a Western team right now, it's hard not to do so when you've got the Avs, the Stars, the Wild so far above basically everybody.
But
You
this
can
would
kinda
be your
make those
time
decisions
to
earlier.
You could snag a late wild card spot right now though, because the Pacific
Yeah.
is so bad.
Yeah, they're in the third spot and they're 1 point out of first with the games in hand.
So why are they trading players away?
Probably a douche.
Draft picks.
Marchman's a douche.
That is true.
Yeah, I guess it could just be that.
It could just be locker room cancer type thing where they're like, we need to get the rest of the guys focused and I don't need this distraction here.
He did try to kill Matt Schaefer, which, by the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
we're playing
And
the
it's not
Islanders.
the first instance of that either.
Yeah. So we get to play the Islanders finally back at home on Saturday. Dude, imagine like almost 2 weeks on the road from starting in Winnipeg and ending in Seattle. Like, I bet those guys are just ready to be done over there.
For sure.
Point.
And it's when you get traded to Minnesota as a hockey player, you're like, oh, a decent sized barn, a good crowd every night. I think they sell out more than everybody but two other teams in all of the NHL. It's like, if they're from, Scandinavia, they're like, all right, well, it's similar to home, whatever. There are downsides to it compared to other places, state income tax being one of them, weather not being as nice as LA or Florida, whatever.
Riots.
Yeah. Well, there's that too. But like the other downside people don't talk about is they lease out Grand Casino Arena like pretty frequently for things like World Juniors. They do it every year for the state hockey tournament. They do like so many other events.
It used to be the Frozen Face-Off. I think they're done with that now this year, but
yeah. So it's like I wonder if they have more extended road trips, maybe not more lengthy road trips than everybody else, but like a higher number of extended road trips than any other team in the league because of that. And New York does the same thing, and they seem to figure it out just fine. But their road trips are all in the East, so they don't really have to go that far. And in a lot of cases, they get to go back home, and it's like there's no difference between flying an hour to Philly versus another hour to Buffalo. It's
and they don't have to deal with the time change horse shit.
Right. Yeah.
Which is the worst part about it. It's
100%.
I can't even as a fan who just sits on my couch and watches the game on my ass, I hate it. But I can't imagine being a high level athlete, who needs to have everything in alignment for your body to be perfect to do the job that you have to do night in and night out and have to deal with time change. I mean, it's just got to be a nightmare. So, we're home against the Islanders and then home against the Devils, which, at this rate, there might be two Hughes brothers scoring goals for the Wild, considering Luke put in 2 on his own team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to see the text message between the Hughes brothers in general, but just his teammates and him as well, because he got so much shit for that.
Like, it's just kind of funny, Quinn is part of this blockbuster trade, one of the biggest that's happened in recent memory. Jack just gets invited to play for Team USA. He's, dating one of the hottest chicks on planet Earth, Tate McRae. And then it's like, what's Luke up to? Oh, he just scored 2 goals on his own team. That's what he's doing. Kind of the odd child there. But of these 3 games, I want to ask you, like, I think we should be able to win all 3 of them, just based on how all 3 of these teams are. I could see them probably going 2-1, but I mean, what do you predict? I know it's
last time I predicted that they would beat the Devils, I think they lost the Devils like 3 or 4-1, and it wasn't even particularly close. Yeah. So it's hard for me to pick against the Devils again, but at that point, didn't have Quinn Hughes, so maybe he has a much better handle on his brother and how to attack that, and he can kind of spread the news. And then Schaefer makes me nervous with the Islanders. He's just got such a cool story going on. Yeah, and he's incredible. So yes, do I think they have a chance to win all 3 of these games? I would say they're probably favored in all 3. But to win 3 in a row, I'm not going to put my money on that.
I think the last time we were on a losing skid, we played the Kraken and we kicked their ass, and that ignited a winning streak. So
true.
The Kraken are a good little rebound team, maybe a get right game, and then the Islanders certainly aren't bad as people thought they were going to be. I mean, obviously the Devils were looking like the best team in the league for like the first month, and they've since kind of skidded out. So I mean, 3 winnable games for sure, but
100%.
All right, let's talk about World Juniors. We wrapped them up a couple nights ago. We had two incredible games on Sunday night. I mean,
the one thing I wanted to talk about quick first before we got off the Wild.
Yeah.
There are 8 players from the Wild, which is a relatively high number if you ask me, going on to separate Olympic rosters. So for the U.S., you've got Boldy, Faber, Hughes, which are kind of no-brainers. Faber, there's a lot of people that have some discourse and say he should be off and we should put one of the other guys that are on, the snuff list on instead. have a problem with the hometown people saying that. As a Minnesota fan, I think Faber has certainly earned his spot, and there's always been favoritism with the GM and who they know, and that's just part of the thing. So I have no problem with it. I think he's good enough to be on the team. I think it is a toss-up. So when it is a toss-up, tie goes to Runner at home anyway. Then for Sweden, you've got Brodin, Ecker, and then the two goalies, Gustafsson and Wallstedt, and it's like those guys are going to be incredible for them. Sweden's on an absolute hot streak, which we'll get into. And then, Sturm for Germany as well. So a lot of guys.
JoJo's snubbed.
JoJo did get snubbed a little bit. But it's a lot of guys that aren't going to get the same rest, which makes me slightly nervous for the back half of the year, because there's going to be, 80% of the league that does get a ton of rest and is going to come back refreshed.
Well, and that includes Kirill. Do you hear what Kirill's doing during the
No.
offseason? There was a report from, I think it was Joe Smith or Michael Russo, saying he's going to be doing some high-altitude training in Colorado, which means I think he's just going on a ski trip.
Yeah. Honestly, a ski trip or hikes or something of that nature, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what? At least our star player is going to be rested thanks to Vladimir Putin. It does suck that they're not playing in the Olympics. I thought they were going to figure out a way around it, kind of like the whole Federation of Russian Athletes thing we did during the last Olympics, but obviously that whole thing has escalated since then. While we're talking the world stuff, do you want to start with Team USA? Do you want to get the bad news out of the way quick?
Bad news, they lost.
Yeah.
Team USA, when I saw them, they were up in Duluth. I went to both of their games up there, and I went to most of the games that were up there, and they dominated Germany, every instance that they ran into them, and they absolutely should have, and they did. So it looked good there. They struggled with Finland. They took them to overtime, and they took them to overtime in the tournament as well, and unfortunately weren't able to win there. But it's something that I saw coming, so it wasn't ultimately that surprising to me.
Really quick. That's another Moscow thing, is when he has a lead, he just plays not to lose. You could see it. We were at the game in person, and you could just see it like happening. Same as what happened to the Gophers, in that national championship game. Like there was a shift from on offense where it just was no longer attacking, it was defending, and everyone knows that's the kiss of death in really any sport. Is once you start playing not to lose, they just give up bang, 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 2 or 3 goals, whatever it was. Yeah. Awesome goal to tie it up with like a minute and a half. But then 3-on-3 starts, and like I mentioned, it didn't look like they had even watched 3-on-3 hockey before with the strategy. It was so bad.
Yeah, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy for, Minnesotans in general, but it extends to Bob Motzko and the way that he plays, because he does always get just that narrow lead, and it is always, tempting. You don't want to lose, so you try and not lose, and you almost have to keep your foot on the gas, and that's something that David Carl does with Denver and did with his version of the World Junior team as well, and it worked out for him. I will say you can get burned pretty heavily, and when you do, it's embarrassing because you give up like really bad goals. But at that stage and that short of a tournament where you don't have a whole season to worry about, guys and getting burned out and everything else, I say put your foot down and hit the gas and let the guys have some fun. So
that's what Sweden did. You could see them do it in the championship game. They didn't let off. I mean, they did give up 2 really late, which made things interesting. But like you could just tell that they were playing to win by as many as they could, not just win somehow.
Yeah, they were giving everybody the green light to shoot from wherever, and it worked out more times than it didn't, for sure.
This tournament, I didn't also know that David Jiricek had a brother until this tournament that we should have. I think we traded for the wrong Jiricek. I think we screwed up the first name on the trade request.
Maybe we can get some white out and go back in there and resubmit it and say no, this letter is wrong. We
could do a. Is there any pop? I'm not a big movie guy. Sarge, you're a big movie guy. Is there any movies where identical twins switch places for someone else's benefit or for their own benefit?
Almost every movie with a twin in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Parent Trap.
Okay, Parent Trap. Let's do that with the Jiriceks. We can send David to St. Louis because they're not going to be good for a while, and Adam can come win a cup with us.
I was going to say the one with Christian Bale and not give anybody a spoiler warning, but I won't do that.
Are you talking about The Prestige?
Yeah.
Great movie. If you haven't seen The Prestige, go watch that movie. It's incredible.
Sarge, you're like the real life version of Carl and Family Guy. You've just seen every movie.
Dude, I love fucking movies, dude.
I will say
love
The
'em.
Prestige is like a top 5 movie all time. for me.
Yeah,
It is
dude,
incredible.
it's seriously so good. You should absolutely watch it.
Yeah, Parent Trap, the Jira checks.
But The Parent Trap, yeah.
Let's do it.
It's worth a
But,
shot.
what was I saying? What did I start this whole thing with?
World Juniors.
Adam
Sweden.
Bennick, awesome tournament. Had that really iconic goal on Saturday to, I believe, was that to tie the game or either to take the lead in Canada? It was pretty late.
Yeah.
End of the second.
Think so. You're asking the wrong guy, man.
Okay.
There was so much hockey I've been watching lately.
I know, and that day was like pure chaos. But so I was reading a little bit more into him. He's only 5'8", and he
Really, he plays like a much bigger person.
so like his idol, he said, is Matt Zuccarello because Zucchi's a shorter player, but
Yeah.
plays a big game because of a big brain.
Sure.
He's a smart guy, and so that's the way Bennick like looks at the game. He's like, I just have to outsmart everyone instead of, like I'm not going to be on a checking line anytime soon.
Right.
So, I just got to be smart, be in the right areas, make the right passes, and I don't know. It sounds like that's the kind of guy he's going to be. At fourth rounder, I mean, you never really know, but hell, there's been better players that were later draft picks. So,
For sure.
just with all of the movement of picks over Jiricek and then, the loss of prospects here in the latest trade, Bennick's name is definitely getting near the top of my list, now that Yurov isn't really a prospect anymore. He's on the team and however you want to look at that. And, we're going to have Adam Jiricek coming up in the system pretty soon once we swap him and get David out of here like a weekend at Bernie's kind of thing, maybe. See, that's a reference. You like that one, Sarge?
What?
We got to sneak him out of here.
Yeah.
David.
Absolutely.
Dude, it is funny how in the public they'll say like, no, we still believe in David. He's going to be a great player, but they just consistently keep scratching him.
100%. They have
He's
to
not
say
good.
it. Like, what are you going to say? Oh, this guy stinks. Like,
yeah, we
then
fucked
you
that
have
one
to-
up.
Yeah. I mean, they are saying it by doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Beach-
It's like when PMT was just talking about this with NFL head coaches. They're like, when you say, oh, he's got our vote of confidence, like kiss of death.
Yep. Yeah, they don't believe in you at all.
Yeah.
Veach, what any other teams, outside of I say the Czechs are probably at the top of everyone's list. I think Finland was certainly better than a lot of people predicted going in, but like what else you got from the tournament that surprised you?
Yeah, Czechia was the biggest surprise without a doubt. You obviously said that that's a no-brainer in, talking, hindsight being 2020 here. Canada always comes into the tournament saying that they're the favorites, and, maybe that's because they're just little brother up north and we have to hear them over and over and over again. But
It's so fun when they lose every
Yeah.
time.
it's so fun when they lose. And in my opinion, coming into the tournament, I know we talked about it on the 10K group chat or the Discord or whichever place we were talking about it. I thought Sweden was the team to beat coming in, and they proved it out there. They were better than even I thought in terms of their offensive side of the puck. And maybe that took some people by surprise. And I don't want to sweep that under the rug as something that we're just overlooking here, because it's been so long since somebody other than the US, Canada, or Finland has won that I don't know that we're celebrating this win for Sweden enough. Not that we're celebrating it, but just acknowledging it is probably a better way to phrase it. And that's something that I know all of the Swedish hockey fans certainly are celebrating. So acknowledging that for sure. Latvia always surprises me, specifically in their games versus Canada.
It's insane, dude. Every year.
They took them to overtime this year. Was that what happened?
Yeah, I was gonna check and see what the preliminary round finalized.
I think they beat them in OT. I think the Canada had a lead and then they gave up a late goal or something, and it went to overtime.
It doesn't give me the final games here, but they finished near the bottom of their group, but they always play Canada so well. And it's Latvia and Czechia. If you can put both of those in the same group as Canada over and over again, they're just gonna demoralize them and beat them down, because those two countries, those two teams play Canada better than just about everybody else. So
Are they in the same pool for the Olympics? Do we know?
I think Canada plays Czechia in the opening round of the Olympics.
Yeah.
For their first game.
And
So
we
that's
play
gonna be
we play
incredible to watch.
Latvia Hey, really quick,
Okay.
speaking of Canada, and this is a little tie into college hockey here, Veach.
Yeah.
Honest question: Is Gavin McKenna kind of a little bitch boy? Because when he's out there, he kind of looks like a little bitch boy.
So here's the thing. When I talk about college hockey more often than not, it's traditionally guys that are, 21 to 24. Like they are not your traditional college athletes. They do have to go play juniors after high school most times and everything else. So my mindset is always, oh, this person is, 21 or older. And that's not always the case. Like Gavin McKenna is a teenager.
Right.
And I have to acknowledge that. I have to say that out loud right now. He is still maybe my least favorite person to watch. I hate the way that kid plays. He is the epitome of what's wrong with Canadian hockey and why they keep losing in the juniors tournaments here. It is all offensive talent. I am not going to bust my ass to go play defense. All I want to do is score goals and get the glory. And I'm going to trash talk like I'm the toughest guy out here until somebody.
And I'm going to
gets
wear
in
a
my
chain
face.
because Penn State is paying me 700 G's a year.
I cannot deny that he's talented, and I want everybody to understand and listen back to what I had just said. I never said that he wasn't a good player, but he is certainly not a team player. And the fact that that is true has to tank his draft stock. Like most of his points in the first half of Penn State's season, which they didn't play for 20 games in a row, and I think they just lost. I'll have to double check again the most recent games here, and it's like most of his points have come on the power play, and that's not impressive to me. And that's me talking out of two sides of my mouth. Like UMD has a ton of points on the power play as well.
Because all these kids want to be. It's all these kids want to be Mitch Marner.
Yeah, that's a name. That's
a comp.
That's a comp.
A lot of skill, no heart.
Yeah, and so there's something to be said about the way that Team Canada was put together and not having enough of the, I don't want to call them bruisers, but like team first guys. Nobody wants to soak shots anymore. Nobody wants to be the one to take the physicality to the other team. And that's not to say that they don't put heavy checks on, but they don't do it consistently. They're not the team that kind of overwhelms you with the speed and size and talent. They just went straight talent only, and it's like you can win that way, but it's a lot harder. Look at the Edmonton Oilers. Like they probably have more offensive talent than anybody in the league, and it does take them far, but they just can't get over the last hump. And yes, that was largely due to, and still is largely due to, goaltending, despite the fact that they're trying to make moves there. But they don't have the drive or people on the back end to make the difference. And so maybe they learned their lesson. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they just swapped Stuart Skinner for Tristan Jarry. I just love the meme of Tim Robinson where he's like, "Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it. That'll do it."
It's honestly when somebody showed me the stats, it reminded me of the Pam Beasley meme. Like, find the difference between these two pictures. It's the exact same goalie. Like, there's no difference.
Or Alex Jones when he claims he lost weight and he has his shirt off. It's the
Just
before
tan.
and after. Yeah.
I got a spray tan. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I read like a whole article on where Canada is going wrong with hockey and how, and unfortunately, it hasn't really hit Minnesota yet, but they're predicting it will, where, kids are developed so early and these like mega leagues are started.
Yeah.
And it's all like camps and skill. And if you're not, by the time you're 8 years old, just filthy, you're never going to make it. And it's like a money thing. And it all makes sense of why the game is going where it's going. And it really sucks. But specifically in Canada, it's a nightmare. There's like 10,000 less kids every year going out for hockey in Canada.
100%. It's the problem that the Northeast was plagued with, and it started to take over the Toronto area and just the I guess it's not the Northwestern, it's the Southeastern side of Canada there, and it's just kind of spread over the rest of the country. Once it's in one part of hockey, it gets spread everywhere. Is these big conglomerates go and they buy up all of the arenas and clubs and everything else, and they own it all, and then the ice time becomes so so expensive that nobody can really afford it anymore. So even though hockey has always been the most expensive sport, it has now doubled in price in some cases and tripled in price in some cases, where it's like, I don't know that I've got the personal time to devote to it and the financial burden on top of that to allow my kid to play this game. And that sucks because I, growing up playing hockey, loved it so much. And that's what I love about the Minnesota system. And what we've still got right now is entirely community based, and owned facilities and programs and everything else. And, that's me talking out of one side of my mouth, knowing that Hermantown, for example, got North Star Ford to build them a brand new arena, and there's advertising and everything else everywhere. And there's ads in probably just about every arena in Minnesota. I would say I'll give it about 90%. And that's not going away because they do need money for, upgraded equipment and facilities and everything else. But there's not conglomerates that are owning individual programs or arenas or anything else that dictate how they're run and who gets access to the time and who doesn't. And until we make that mistake, I'm still going to, brag about the way that Minnesota runs everything until I'm blue in the face and ridicule everybody else. Because what you were talking about before in terms of kids having to be specialized is another thing that Minnesota does well. Some kids do get very specialized very quickly, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's a lot to be said about the strain that puts on certain muscle groups and how much more prone to injury you are if you don't play multiple sports. And I think the peak athletes that we're looking at all grew up playing multiple sports right now, and that should be the template and proof as to why you should continue to do that. But instead, hockey is going towards what international soccer has done forever, and it is, if your kid is good, they have to play in these specialty programs and be isolated from everybody else and just focus on hockey their entire life. And if it works out for them, great. If it doesn't work out for them, it causes a lot of mental instabilities and depression and all these other things. And I'm like, that's a lot to be putting on these kids at a really, really young age. And I would much rather have my kid be happy and, maybe play D3 hockey. And if they're really good, go play D1 or whatever. And that just seems like a way better thing. And it's working out for Minnesota. So long story short, I hope they never change.
Really quick, going back to the advertisements in arenas, those work really well because every time I play beer league and I see a bar or a restaurant advertised on the boards, I just stare at it and I'm like, I could fucking go for a cocktail right now. That sounds great. Yeah. That sounds great.
The ones that I've always kind of been not annoyed by, but confused by, one, the Xcel Energy Center when it was, the X, and I'm still going to refer to it that for the next 5 years or so. That's kind of a monopoly. You either have Xcel Energy as your provider or you don't. You don't have a choice.
I know. We always laughed at that too. It's what are you going to do, bro? Not pay utilities?
Yeah. I've never understood that. And maybe they do it as a community, improvement, and they kind of write it off as, oh, hey, you give us all this money, we're giving some back to something that you all enjoy. And I guess that could be something. That's not how anybody sees advertising in the rink, and maybe that's why they pulled out.
So you're less pissed next time there's an outage.
Yeah.
Well, the Wild are playing pretty good, and they do play at Xcel Energy Arena, so
Yeah.
Grand Casino Arena though now, the G spot. I'm just happy. The only thing I'm happy about with the World Juniors being over, two things. Yes, I don't have to see World Hockey Report's tweets anymore about how empty the arenas are.
Yeah.
It is funny seeing people people get really mad responding to them. If you don't know those guys, they're a couple of guys in Edmonton who are just basically professional trolls. Everything they put on that page is rage bait. 100%. So when people are like, oh, you guys are obsessed with the state of hockey in Minnesota. No, they know that you're upset and it makes them, laugh. So they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm glad I just don't have to see TSN or NHL Network ads again because there's about 6 of them that into.
That's tough.
All the different NHL players saying they played college hockey.
Yeah.
That one made me want to blow my brains out by the end of the tournament. I hope I never have to see that ad again.
I agree with everything except for that one because every time Cale McCarr came up, I was like, yeah, you played college hockey and you lost in that national championship game.
I mean, but it's cool, for the juniors versus college argument. It's awesome too. College hockey is awesome and it is cool that all those players played it. But once you've heard something, it's like a good song. The first time you hear it, you're like, this is the best thing ever. By the time you've played it 200 times on repeat, it just doesn't hit the same anymore. So that's what it was like.
No, totally agree.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have.
Oh, wait, no. We got one more segment.
Oh, we do? The wild take. I didn't even prepare for this. Fuck. All right, you guys go first.
Go Veach.
My wild take, since I need to bring up college hockey in some form or fashion, is that Dartmouth, who was undefeated going into Christmas break and has since lost 4 of their last 5 games to UNH, Arizona State, Princeton, and QPAC, and gone free falling down the standings. And I was correct about all that. They've lost all of those games because it came out that Tate McRae's brother is on the team, and he's been getting too much publicity about it. So Tucker McRae, it's your fault that Dartmouth has lost, and you deserve it.
Hey guys, lay off him. It's not his fault. He has a fucking hot sister.
I was just about to say, dude, it must be kind of brutal being an absolute superstars who is so smoking hot brother. I mean, that's got to be the worst.
I just thought of this though, Spin Zone. Do you know how many equally attractive women are going to date you just because they want to get closer to Tate, who they're all a fan of?
Is that how that works?
I don't think that's how it works.
I think, dude, are you kidding me? If you're her brother, do you know how many girls are going to talk to you just in hopes that she gets invited to Thanksgiving?
So
gets to sit at
here's
the same
what I've
table as
noticed.
Tate?
Here's what I've noticed. Obviously, Taylor Swift is in her own category in terms of the female following, but like Olivia Rodrigo has a good female audience, and it is like, oh, we really like her music. And then there's a couple of, really thirsty guys that are like, oh no, I'm literally just following her because she looks good. Whereas Tucker McRae, I'm looking at this picture, Tate McRae, I think her audience is like 50-50 with like girls who actually enjoy the music and like guys that are just ogling every time that she's on stage. And I would say 40% of that male 50% audience is hockey fans that are just like, oh, you used to date hockey players and have a preference to them. And there's a long history of showing that. So I just want to see where this is going next.
I mean,
And
if
maybe I'm
it's only
thinking about that wrong.
50%, that's still a pretty good number of attractive women, though.
I just said 50% women.
It's a big C.
Yeah.
A lot of fish in there, Veach.
I guess. Yeah. But statistically, you're right. The numbers.
I still wouldn't want it because every dude on that team is just giving you the business
every time he steps on the ice.
24/7.
Practice rink, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
you
Like,
probably
he
get,
just has to
dude,
get it.
imagine the chirps by other teams.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Like, dude,
That
I would
too.
bone your sister. That's you don't have to be creative about it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, easiest chirp of all time. And then like, hey, did you see her latest music video where she was fucking naked? I've seen your sister naked. Like, oh, it would just be awful.
Right. It would. Yeah, for sure.
I would recommend not going that far. Like if you want to make a cardboard cutout of her and the star player of whoever they're playing kissing, and you're like, ooh, put it up to the glass. Like that's an easy one to get in his head.
That's a good point.
That is,
Yep.
Dude, like Major League style too.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice. Another good movie reference.
Sarge, what is your wild take? And it's not allowed to be Blackhawks related.
No, this isn't hockey related at all.
Okay.
Frosting is fucking disgusting. I am so anti-frosting. So I had a cupcake the other day, and it was caked with like that nasty, sugary ass processed fucking frosting. And I tried to get the full experience, and it was just like, dude, this is so gross, and I just scraped it off. Dude, I don't know how anyone likes frosting or
Kind of
enjoys it.
transphobic of you to say that, by the way.
Why?
Trans fats?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. It's dude, frosting's
I
so
love
fucking
frosting.
gross, dude.
So I'm trying to cancel you.
Sarge, I will back you up on this 100% with the caveat that a good whipped cream cheese frosting, which is never on anything that
Okay.
you buy outside,
Yes.
like of a high-end bakery, like that is my exception. Every other frosting, the things would be better without it. Like if you put frosting, I'll say this specifically, and then I'll let you go. If you put frosting on your brownies or nuts in your brownies, but we're talking about frosting now. If you put frosting on your brownies, you suck at baking.
You suck at baking.
Yeah,
Brownies
that's
do
just
not need frosting.
You're just trying to add sugar at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hate frosting, dude. And like that Oreo frosting too, disgusting.
Dude,
Fuck that.
this
dude.
reminds me, there was a tweet I saw, which I didn't know this existed, of someone who bought cookies at, it must be some local bakery, or it wasn't like Crumble or anything like that. And it was a line of cookies, and then they had additional dipping sauces with like frosting and chocolate sauce. And this guy quote tweets it and goes, "I'm someone who is very fat. I've been fat my entire life. You're a whole new level of fat if you have to dip your cookies in additional frosting."
Gross, dude.
100%.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I can't get, dude. I love it. I love frosting. I'll take it. I'll take it with a spoon and just eat it. I don't give a shit.
I know plenty of people that'll go and buy that pink tub of Funfetti frosting, and I think it's just the Betty
Gross.
Crocker stuff, and I'm just like, you're a low level of human. that
Yeah.
no
Or
one
dude,
can
a
live down.
vanilla wafer dipped in frosting. That was a huge contributor to my freshman 15, but that was a good late night snack in the door.
See, now you're getting close to what was the packet? You're getting close, not Danimals.
Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos. You're getting close to
Yeah.
Dunkaroos, which I can't trash talk those too much.
Yeah.
Dunkaroos. There's no way they exist anymore.
Oh, for sure. They just came back, I think.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure. The teal packaging and everything.
Sarge, this is America. We're one of the fattest countries on earth. Of course they're back. Come
That's
on.
true. That makes sense.
All right. Well, I didn't prep for this one, but I'll just throw this out there. Keaton Verhoff, #1 overall pick next year. Book it, sign it, seal it, and deliver it.
The odds are getting better.
They're getting better, especially after Gavin McKenna kind of looked like a little bitch boy in the World Juniors. You know?
Yeah, that last penalty he took when they got.
And then he was trying to leave the ice before even
Yeah.
shaking hands. Just a bad look for the kid.
Yeah,
You know?
bad sport.
Keaton Verhoff, though, if you're looking for an offensive defenseman, I got a guy for you. And he had a great tournament, got a lot of
Yep.
praise, even though I was watching the TSN broadcast, so they were drooling over everybody.
Right.
But yeah, Keaton Verhoff, #1 overall. Depending on the team that wins the lottery, if there's a team who desperately needs that in the roster, I think he's pretty much a shoo-in at that point. But it is hard passing up a guy like McKenna with the pedigree he has, the skill he has, so we'll see. But yeah, that's a non-biased take from a North Dakota fan. Completely non-biased at all. We're also going to the Frozen Four, and I'm going to be there in person in Las Vegas, which I didn't know this, Veach. You'll probably think I'm a casual for just finding this out when I was watching the game against
Yeah.
who did we play this weekend? Maryhurst? No.
I think it was Mercyhurst.
Mercyhurst, yeah.
Yep.
It's like create a
The
team.
worst team in all of college hockey.
Yeah, create a team. We swept them. You got to beat the bad teams. Anyways, I didn't know that we were the host of this year's Frozen Four, and we were
Yeah.
just like, fuck it. We know that no one wants to come to Grand Forks. Let's just have it in Vegas.
So here's the thing: you can't host it at your home arena, and so they
Oh.
have to host it somewhere else, and they can choose wherever they want because it's either going to be one of the other crappy arenas in the Dakotas, or we can go wherever. Might as well go to Vegas.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know that was a rule. I mean, it does make sense because most teams don't have a big enough facility to host that big of an event.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be cool if they just said, let's have it at the G Spot again, because then,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to drive too far or, buy a plane ticket. But you know what? Yeah, if we go to the Frozen Four, which I think we will, then I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Having it be in Vegas this year is going to be a much, I don't want to say better, but different experience than some of the other places. And there's a lot more things for that fan base to do there. So
What would you guys think if they had the World Juniors in Vegas next? Because it's not back
Why
in the
not?
U.S. till 2031, and God
Right.
knows we're not going to get it anytime soon. Vegas would be, I think, a really cool venue for that tournament.
I think Vegas would draw huge crowds because it's so easy to fly into and out of. That's like their whole thing in Vegas, despite the fact that it takes forever to get to the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to do it. I think, there's so many other factors in terms of the Canadian and other international input saying, oh, we don't want it in a hot climate. We want this in a hockey climate. It's probably going to be in Buffalo again or Detroit or somewhere that's really close to Toronto so the Canadians can come down and then make that argument. I would put my money on those two cities if we're being completely honest. Maybe you get like a Boston or somewhere like that thrown in there, but I do think it would be cool if it were in Vegas.
If it's in Buffalo, the last time Sarge and I were in Buffalo, he was on we were taking a connecting flight from Detroit, and Sarge was on the plane just yelling about how big of a shithole Buffalo is.
Was I wrong? Was I
Well,
wrong?
No, you weren't. I mean, you weren't wrong, but like you just kept saying it, and eventually this woman sitting next to me turned around and just started grilling him.
Yeah.
About how she's from and then like other people from Buffalo who had been listening to Sarge joined in and started like going after him.
Yeah, Sarge, what's your defense? Like, oh, I went to school at UMD in Duluth. Like, I love Duluth, but it's not better than Buffalo.
I was just spitting facts. Buffalo is
You were
a
also,
shithole.
you
I
were
love
also
it there.
drunk.
Yeah, we were drunk.
Yeah,
And
that'll
I have
happen.
I have bad issues of volume control.
Buffalo is a shithole, but it's my kind of shithole.
Yeah, exactly.
A fun place.
Exactly.
All right,
Big
folks.
city, small bars.
We will wrap up the show there. Thank you so much for listening, watching live. Also, make sure to get yourself a captain's patch at the G-Spot Grand Casino Arena next time you're there for a Wild Game of Frost game. Section 105, 115C13. Also, get one of these 97 hats before they're gone. I think there's window because it's a one-sided window. There's like 20 of them left. So get one of them before they're gone forever. And a Quinnesota hoodie. Maybe if enough of us buy these, he might crack a fucking smile once in a while. But it's been another edition of Wild Wednesday on 10K TV.